Welcome back to You Be the Judge. Just before the break, we were talking about Giving Tuesday and things that you can do around here. You know, sometimes you see something like that on television and you say to yourself, oh, I wish I was clever enough, or I wish I had the vision to figure out something that would really impact another family or another group of families. And we let the opportunity slip by simply because we don't think that we're able to put together a worthy enough program. Tom, you've got some help for people around here, that things that people can do.
A lot of the different things that we all can do are things that we just know and can do. And then there are some unique ideas that people have come up with on Giving Tuesday. Certainly we can log into our favorite charities website, or those of you that use Facebook can log in. You'll see a lot of reminders up now on Facebook for nonprofits, reminding people that they're participating in Giving Tuesday, and to think of them when you're looking at it, that being the Children's Advocacy Center, the Friends of the Poor, EOTC, Marley's Mission. They're all participating in Giving Tuesday, and would love for people to consider donating a couple of dollars to their organization.
And my guess is that there's some charities out there for our furry friends.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, shame on me for not bringing that up earlier. Yeah, you all in this office here have adopted for a period of time a four-legger that is just this, might very well be the sweetest dog I have ever met, period.
We are going to be heartbroken when we don't hear his tender feet wandering up and down the hall. He's a great dog with a tail that just never stops wagging, and every once in a while he gets excited and starts chasing his tail and barks a little bit. But it's been wonderful to do, and seeing the veteran who owned the dog, who didn't have a place for him to stay, come in after 5 months. He didn't see the dog, and that dog, it was one of the nicest things you can imagine. It was really beautiful.
And I think people should know that what you guys did. I mean, here this gentleman, that the dog was going to go to a shelter, and it is a big dog that isn't easily adopted or isn't easily fostered. I don't know if he's pure pit bull, but he's a pit bull mix, and quite frankly, those dogs aren't taken into too many homes.
That's I admit to a bias against pit bulls, because you hear so much of the fact that they're fighting dogs, but this dog is
we can't help but think that.
This dog is just the friendliest dog you'd ever want to meet.
No exaggeration. It is one of the sweetest animals I have ever met in my life.
A lot of credit goes to Melissa Tice and to John Hart, who both have really stepped up to the plate. They take them to the veterinarians and have them at their homes. And, having a dog in the house is not an inexpensive proposition either. Yeah. By the time you get finished with veterinary trips and food and everything. But they've both done it as volunteers and absolutely have loved it, and everybody in the office has been enriched by it.
And now what we have is when this gentleman finishes and is able to be allowed to get back into his home again, he'll have his dog with him, thanks to you guys. And that wouldn't have happened if you didn't step up. I'm, pretty much take it to the bank that nobody else would have stepped up as you guys did.
Well, it was nice, and again, it's the folks that work here, Melissa and John, who agreed that they could handle an extra pet. Yeah. And both of them have pets. They both have dogs, and it was great though. But there's
and there are a lot of pet rescue organizations that can use help as well. There's a lot, and Griffin Pond Animal Shelter as well too, and the local rescues or Luzerne County SPCA, and we do have to think about our pets all the time too, and even in the winter. Remember that some shelters for those animals are important. That for the strays we can provide the shelters with insulated little cat shelters and things like that for them, or just make a donation to them to help them out. Donate blankets, pet blankets or beds for them. They're certainly appreciated. And then for the humans, certainly we have the things that everyone is in need, like you said. the public funding and the private corporate funding has so much of it is dried up, and it's just not there. We have to help. We have to stand up and help.
The other thing that we don't think enough about are the homeless among us. We don't see them. So as a result, we don't think about them. But the fact of the matter is, for everyone, whether it's you or me or a family member of mine, we're a couple steps from homelessness every day of our lives.
That's exactly right. That's so true.
Serious illness can strike. We
Yeah.
can lose our jobs. Any number of things can happen.
And so many of us have an inherent kind of attitude about people in prison or people that are homeless. Sometimes you have a gut reaction, well, you know, they could work, they could do this, they could do that. Well, with a lot of those cases, they can't. We might have a situation here in Scranton with a cutback in service at Colts where people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to lose their jobs now. That's a whole other subject, and the state representatives and Senator Blake have stepped up, and we think that will be addressed at least with the Saturday service. But we had the potential where people could, as a result of losing their jobs, and a lot of them are minimum wage, they will be out of a job, and then in a short period of time find themselves homeless, just for something as simple as that they can't get a bus ride to work. So any one of us, or many of us, are you know, the wrong left turn away from tragedy in our family.
You know, I can remember being on the school board and sitting at a meeting and having someone go to the microphone and ask us as school directors to think about what it is like to have lived in a sunny, warm climate all of your life and all of a sudden have the opportunity to come to America, but you didn't have clothes to bring with you. And reminded me that because our bus routes weren't as effective as they needed to be, that there were so many of these kids from Mexico and Guatemala and Honduras that were walking to school without warm clothes in a climate that they had never been exposed to. And
Yeah.
that's
And we have to remember that these people that we're looking at that are going through this, we have to remember to our heritage and our ancestors. And a lot of them went through that 100 years ago or 125 years ago. It's not just the people that are coming into our communities now. Our own families experienced that. And we have to remember that and relate that when we see that too. You mentioned about some of the other things that we can do that might be, so to speak, out of the box or fun or different, or a different way to help raise funds or raise something for people in need. One of them that someone brought up to me just today was a pajama party.
I think that's a great
well,
idea.
It kind of scares me. Working for a state representative and the thoughts of having a pajama party in the office scares the heck out of me. And they explained it a little further.
When we come back, because we got to
can
go to
explain
break,
a little further.
we're gonna
good.
talk about that. And
Different
I
ways
think
it can be done.
I think it's something that on December 2nd, everybody should have a pajama party. So please stay tuned to You Be the Judge. I'm Todd O'Malley with the law offices of O'Malley and Langen. If I say accident, what do you think? Car crash, falling down the steps, unexpected events. People don't realize most of these accidents aren't really accidents. They're injuries caused by careless third parties. So if you've been hurt at work, call O'Malley and Langen. 1-800-817-COMP. 1-800-817-2667.
If you are disabled and unable to work, you may be entitled to Social Security benefits. In order to obtain benefits, you must prove your disability is severe enough to keep you from working. Social Security is financed through a dedicated payroll tax. If you have been paying taxes, then you have been paying into Social Security. And if you are no longer able to work, you've earned your rights to your Social Security benefits. Call the lawyers at O'Malley and Langen, representing Social Security claimants for a quarter of a century.
When I talk about pajama party, I think everybody in my office would want to see me in my PJs. It's not going to happen. Explain to us what the pajama party
They
is all
don't want to
about.
see me in them either. The pajama party is of course, whatever you make of it, but it might be certainly your staff wearing appropriate sleepwear to work, but the concept of it was to bring sleepwear to work, to donate to families and individuals in need. or perhaps pets will have little pet pajamas as well. But to bring in something that then can be donated to one of the shelters, or perhaps to your church, or to a group that you know, or a family that you know is in need. But it's a time when a lot of families need it. The heat is not perhaps as easy to pay for an awful lot of people.
As long as we've had children, my wife has bought pajamas for my daughters. And now it's been a long time, but they still get their Christmas pajamas. And I think a lot of families have that tradition,
Yeah.
and it becomes so tough when times get tough and you can't give those gifts. So a pajama party all over Lackawanna County for places like the Macaulay Center and any number of other places that we can give to. And food drives, a lot of great food drives, a lot of great food pantries around here. Talk to me about some of the areas there that you see need, Tom.
Certainly, when we think of the food drives, we think of the St. Francis Soup Kitchen, and the same exists down in Wilkes-Barre and other communities throughout the area. And a lot of the churches have their own food drives. And one of the things that I was reminded of was some of the things that you perhaps could remember in donating the foodstuffs and in donating the non-perishable items. First, that they not be a glass container, that because of the transit of moving things around so much, they prefer for it not to be a glass container, and for it to be healthy items as well.
What are some of the foods that they recommend? I know we were kidding about this at the breaks.
Canned tunas and canned meats, which it's one of the top 10 items was canned meats, but I other than Spam, I don't know too many canned meats, but canned tuna and canned meats were among the top. Peanuts, peanut butter, vegetable broth, soup, canned spaghetti sauces, and pasta, but not just pasta, but whole grain pastas. It's not just a matter of emptying out your kitchen cupboard of things that are near the expiration date, but to think of some healthy items that would be good for them as well.
For years, and unfortunately we got away from the habit at O'Malley and Langen, we see a lot of people that are really down on their luck, that have been hurt on the job and haven't been working. So we'd all select a family that we wanted to help. Each lawyer, a paralegal, and it would break into about 10 food baskets, and we'd deliver them to people. And every year there'd be somebody that would meet us at the door and say, "Oh no, give that to somebody who needs it more than we do." Wow. And it's just, we think you need it more than anybody else, and we want to give it to you. And I had people with tears in their eyes saying, "I want to repay you for this next year," and many people would. They'd bring something in, and it's again the gift of giving.
Yeah, and the modesty of the people in our region is I think incredible. But it's nice that each of us, regardless, take that time and action and do something about it.
Another thing that charity that I don't want to forget is Marley's Mission, the great work that they do up there. And again, that's a charity. They don't have a great deal of money that comes into them. They depend on the generosity of the community and some federal and state grants. Yeah. But you can do 1,000 things for them up there, including go up and work in a stable for an afternoon.
That's right. Yeah, that's something that they really do need. I mean, that's a lot of work that has to be done up there. But what a terrific experience for anyone of any age to go up and do that kind of work up there.
Tom, thank you so much for all you do, and thanks for
Todd.
Sharing Sunday morning with my audience and some of the great ideas that you had. And let's just hope that those of you that are watching will catch the spirit on Tuesday, December 2nd, and give yourself the gift of giving and give to our community. Have a pajama party, bring in some food, help our little furry friends, whatever. But thank you, and have a happy Giving Tuesday. Hi, I'm Todd O'Malley with the law offices of O'Malley and Langen. If I say the phrase life-changing experience, what do you think? Getting married, having a baby, buying a home? all good things. I'll bet you didn't think work injury, and that's a problem with our society. Many people just don't understand that being injured on the job and unable to work can change everything. It can destroy your earning power, hurt your family, damage your health. If you've been hurt at work, call O'Malley and Langen. You'll find there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Our lawyers will find that glimmer of hope and fight back. If you're afraid to make waves, scared of losing your job altogether, call O'Malley and Langen 24/7. Nights and weekends, one of our lawyers will answer the phone. So call 1-800-817-COMP. That's 1-800-817-2667. And remember, we don't get paid unless you win.